Hello students, welcome to my channel Max My Heartbeat. Students, in the previous video I have started relations and mappings and I have explained what is a relation, how to find out a relation from A to B. Okay, and along with that I have explained types of relations also. So now let us recap once what we have discussed yesterday. So what we have discussed means, first, what are relations? Relations are subsets of A cross B. If we take A cross B as an operation of set, then in that A cross B, every subset of A cross B is a relation. Okay, number of sets of A cross B is equal to number of relations defined from A cross B. Okay, when we are getting some n number of subsets of A cross B, then there will be n relations from A to B. Number of subsets of set is equal to 2 power n, where n is the number of elements in the set. Okay, this is the third point we have discussed. And number of elements of A cross B is equal to number of elements of A into number of elements of B. This is also very important. Okay, next, relations can be represented in roster form and set builder form. Same like sets, relations can also be represented in roster form and set builder form. Along with that, we have discussed types of relations, that is symmetric relation, reflective relation and transitive relation. Here symmetric relation means if a relation from A to B is there, then a relation from B to A will also be there. And in the same way, reflective relation means if a relation from A to B is there, then a relation from A to A must also should be present in that relation. Understood? And transitive means if a ordered pair A comma B is there and B comma C is there, then one more element should be there such that A comma C is an element of that relation. Understood? That is about transitive relation. These are the points we have discussed in our yesterday's class. Now today let us move to our next concept, that is equivalence relation. I hope everybody understood all the points now. So now let us move to our next concept, that is equivalence relation. What is an equivalence relation? So our next concept, equivalence relation. If a relation is symmetric, reflective and transitive, then it is an equivalence relation. This is the definition of equivalence relation. If a relation is symmetric, reflective and transitive, all three types of relation should be satisfied by a relation, then such a relation is an equivalence relation. For suppose our best example is identity relation. Identity relation is our best example. What is an identity relation? Identity relation is such a relation such that every element of one set is mapped to the same element of the other set. Understood? So like this, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4, 5 comma 5 and so on. This relation is an identity relation. Okay? Identity means here the image of 1 is 1 and the pre-image of 1 is also 1. Means every element is mapped to the same element of the other set or of the same set. Since such a relation is called identity relation, and this is the best example of equivalence relation. How? Let us see. So for suppose I want to prove symmetric relation. Symmetric relation is such that if A comma B exists, then B comma A also belongs to R. Means if A comma B is an element of R, then B comma A is also element of R. See here, if 1 comma 1 is an element of R, then if I reverse this, 1 comma 1, same we are getting. This is the same element of R, like that we are getting. So this is symmetric. Okay. Next, reflexive. Reflective means 1 comma 1 means 1 and 1, same element, repeated. So here also 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. same element should be repeated, then that is called reflective. So this is satisfying reflective also. So if anyhow transitive also will be satisfied. See here 1 comma 1. If there is one more element of such a kind, then we can prove that we can take mapping from that element. But anyhow this is ending starting from 1 and ending from 1. Okay. So this is transitive also. Understood? So this relation is overall called a equivalence relation. Understood? This is how we have to see whether a relation is an equivalence relation or not. Okay? Next, let us see some more examples from our previous concept, that is symmetric, transitive and reflexive. Okay? One example I will explain, one example I will give homework, you do as homework. Okay? So first let us see the example which we have to do in our class now. So example, R is equal to A comma B such that A is divisible by B. So now I am taking options also here. Somewhat big, right? So the example, R is equal to A comma B such that A is divisible by B. This is the condition for A comma B should to be satisfied. Okay. So now if I take A comma B such that A is divisible by B, then can I take A comma A such that A is divisible by A? Yes. For suppose I am taking 4 is divisible by 2, am I correct? Yes, 4 is divisible by 2 only, no? 2 2 is 4, yes. Can I write like this? 4 is divisible by 4. Yes. When I divide by 4 also I am getting the same remainder 0, am I correct? So if A comma B belongs to A, then A comma A belongs to A is also satisfied. So this relation is reflective. Okay. Now let us see whether this relation is symmetric or not. Symmetric means if A is divisible by B, then B also should be divisible by A. Is that condition satisfied? Now let us see. So the same example I am taking for suppose B comma A is divisible by, means B is divisible by A. This I should see now. Okay. So same example I am taking, 4 is divisible by 2. Okay, if I reverse this condition, is it satisfied? 2 is divisible by 4. Is it possible? Means if I divide 2 with 4, am I getting remainder 0 there? 4 divisible by 2, is it remainder 0? 4 0 0, 2 is the remainder. So is the remainder 0 here? No. So this condition is not satisfied. So this relation is not symmetric. Okay. Next, let us see transitive. A comma B such that A is divisible by B. B comma C such that B is divisible by C. Then there should be a relation from A to C such that A is divisible by C. Okay, let us see whether this is possible or not. Okay, for suppose I am taking 16 is divisible by 4. In the same way, 4 is divisible by 2. Correct? 16 divisible by 4. Correct only, no? 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. And is 16 divisible by 2? Yes. Means if I divide 16 with 2, I am getting remainder 0. Yes, 2 tables 16 how many times? 8 times. So this is also possible. So this is transitive. So this condition satisfies reflective and transitive only, but not symmetric. Understood how to check whether a condition is symmetric, whether a relation is reflective, symmetric or transitive. This is the way we have to check. In the same way, I will give one more homework, you do as homework and say the answer in the comment section. So, example, A or B means a relation from A to B. If means if and only if modulus of A minus B is greater than 1 by 2, comma A comma B belongs to R. This is your homework. Okay, try to solve this, whether this is satisfying, symmetric, reflective and transitive or not. Solve on your own. Okay, now let us see one more question. One more very interesting example. So example, A is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7. B is equal to 2, 4, 6, 8. Relation is A or B implies A greater than B, such that A belongs to A, comma B belongs to B. This is the set builder form. Given question in set builder form, we need to write the answer in roster form. So we need to find the relation such that A is greater than B here. So R is equal to, so A is greater than B and A is the element of B and B is the element of A is the element, small a is the element of capital A and small b is the element of capital B, and this relation should satisfy must and should this condition that A is greater than B. If I take 1 comma 2, is 1 greater than 2 here? No, it is not possible. 3 comma 2, can I take? Yes, 3 comma 2 is possible. Why? Because 3 is greater than 2. In the same way I can take 5 comma 2. Yes, in the same way I can take 7 comma 2. Am I correct? Next, can I take 1 comma 4? No, why? Because 1 is not greater than 4 here. 3 comma 4, this is also not possible. 5 comma 4, yes, this is possible. Next, 7 comma 4. Next I can take 6. 1 comma 6, is it possible? No, not possible. 3 comma 6 is also not possible. 5 comma 6 is not possible. 7 comma 6, yes, this is possible. Okay, now let us see. 1 comma 8, 3 comma 8, 5 comma 8, 7 comma 8. In all cases we are getting less than, so not possible. So only these are the elements of the relation such that A is greater than B and A is small a belongs to capital A and small b belongs to capital B. Answer question is given in set builder form. We have to write the answer in which form? Roster form. Understood? This is our example. Now let us find domain, codomain and range for this example only. For this relation only, let us find out domain, codomain and range. If A and B are the same elements of set A and set B, okay? And relation is this relation only, and we have to find out domain, codomain and range. Okay, first draw the arrow diagram like this. Okay. So what are the elements of A and B? Let us mention. So what are the elements of A here? 1, 3, 5, 7. What are the elements of B here? 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Now we have to map the relation here. So 3 to 2 like this, and 5 to 2 like this, and 7 to 2 also like this. Next 5 comma 4 like this, 7 comma 4 like this, and 7 comma 6 like this. Understood? This is our relation, and this is how we need to represent using arrow diagram. This is whatever we are drawing here. This is called what? Arrow diagram. Yesterday only I have explained in my previous class. Okay. Now let us find out domain, codomain and range of a relation. Means the same relation I am finding domain, codomain and range. How to find out? Okay, domain means every element of A which is mapped here to B should be written in the domain. Is one mapped to any element here? No. So one is not possible. One is not element of the domain here. So domain is nothing but elements which are mapped in set A. So that we have to write, that is 3, 5, 7. Yes. So these are the elements which are mapped in set A. Next, codomain. Codomain means complete set B we have write even when they are mapped or when they are not mapped also. Understood? So codomain is nothing but complete set 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. Now range. Range is nothing but elements of set B which are mapped. Understood the difference between codomain and range? Codomain means complete set B we have to write. Range means only elements of B which are mapped we have to write. So here 2, 4, 6. Understood? This is how we have to write domain, codomain and range of a given relation. I hope everybody understood up to here. So next, let us move to our next concept, that is inverse of a relation. Next concept, inverse of relation. Inverse of a relation. How to find out inverse of relation? First, suppose I am taking my relation as R is equal to 2, 4, 4, 3. Whatever the elements we want, we can take 6, 2 and 1, 8 like this. Okay. So these are my elements of the relation 1, 2, 4, 4, 3, 6, 2 and 1, 8. I want inverse. Inverse of relation is nothing but my image becomes pre-image and pre-image becomes image here. So reverse of this first pair is 4, 2. Means swapping the elements. Means image should be written as pre-image and pre-image should be written as image. That is called the inverse of a function. Understood? This is how we have to write the inverse of a relation. Understood up to here, everybody? So this is about relations. Next, let us move to our next concept, that is function. So very, very important definition, function. So definition. Every element of A must have one and only one image in B. Okay. This is the definition of function, very important definition of function. That is, every element of A must have one and only one image in B. So from this, what we can do means, we can conclude 2 points, that is, every element of A means our first function, first set, must and should, if not must, be mapped. Means no element should be remained unmapped. Understood? If any element is not mapped means that is never called a function. And one more is, every element of A must have one and only one image in B. Means element of A can have same image in B, but must and should have at least one image in B. Understood? So let us understand this with an example now. Note down definition, everybody, very, very important definition. Every element of A must have one and only one image in B. This is the definition of function. Means what are the 2 points we can conclude from this? Means every element of A must be mapped and every element of A must have only one and only one image in B. Okay. Now let us understand this with an example. So directly I am using arrow diagram for my example here. First I am taking set A and one more set B. Okay, in my set A I am taking 3 elements A, B, C, and here I am taking 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now what I am doing means I am mapping A to 1 and B to 2 and C also to 2. Okay, and in the next one more example I am taking here. This is my set A and this is my set B. Here what I will do means I will reverse the elements here 1, 2, 3, 4 and here I will take A, B, C. Okay, now what I will do means I will take 1 to A and 2 to B and 3 to C. Very simple example. See here what I said, every element of A must be mapped. See here every element of A is mapped irrespective of their image. Okay, and they are having one image only in B. See here, what is the image of A? Is 1. What is the image of B? Is 2. What is the image of C? C is also 2. But it is mapped. Definitely it is mapped to 2. Right? So this is a function. Understood? Come to example 2 here. See here, how many elements are there in set A? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 elements are there. How many elements are there in B? 3 elements. Or every element of A is mapped to B here? No. The element 4 is remaining unmapped here. So that this function, this relation is never called a function. That is, this is not a function. Understood the difference everybody now? Every element of A must and should be mapped and should have one and only one image in B. Then only that is called a function. Now let us understand this with one more example. Third example I am taking here. So this is set A and this is set B and this is a function from A to B. Okay, I am taking 3 elements 1, 2, 3 here and 3 elements A, B, C here. Okay, what I am doing means I am mapping 1 to A and 1 to B and 2 to C. Okay, if possible, let us take 3 to C, 3 to B also. Yes. Now let us understand this. So how many are the is every element of A mapped here? Yes, definitely every element of A is mapped here. But how many images are there for one here? A and B. 2 images are there. Right? How many images are there for A here? 2 images are there. Okay. So every element of A should have only one image in B. That is a definition of our function. But here one is having 2 images. So is this called a function now? So this is also not a function. Understood? Even though every element of A is mapped to every element of B here, but one is having how many images here? 2 images. So this is not a function. Understood? This is the clear explanation about function. Now let us see the domain, codomain and range of a function. Same like for relation, for function also we are having domain, codomain and range. So an example is I am taking 2 sets A to B and I am forming a function F from A to B. So what are the elements of A? A, B, C, D are the elements of A and P, Q, R, S are the elements of B. Now what I am doing means I am taking a mapping from A to P, B to Q C to R and also D to R. Okay. So let us find the domain, codomain and range of the function. First let us see whether this relation is a function or not. What I said, every element of A must be mapped with the element of B. Okay, yes, every element of A is mapped here, and every element of A should have one and only one image. Yes, that condition is also satisfied, so that this is a function. Okay, now let us find out domain, codomain and range. Very, very important. Domain, codomain and range. This is very important. So domain is nothing but every element is mapped here. So in domain I will get complete set A, that is A, B, C, D. Okay. So always in a function, all the elements of set A becomes the domain. Yes. Why? Because every element of A should be mapped. So that's why domain is nothing but all elements of A. And codomain, same like relation. Here also codomain means all elements of set B, that is P, Q, R, S. Even when it is mapped, we have to consider element S also. Next, range. Range means elements of set B which are mapped only but not mapped, we should not take. So P, Q, R. Okay. This is domain, codomain and range of a function. Okay. Next, last but not least, let us discuss about types of functions. So our last concept in today's class, types of functions. So how many types of functions are there? One-to-one and many-to-one. Second one, on-to and into. These are the types of functions. Okay. So now let us see what is one-to-one and many-to-one and on-to and into. Okay. So my same example I am taking here. So here same A, B, C, D are my elements of set A, and P, Q, R, S are my elements of set B. What I will do means I will map every element of A to every element of B here. Okay. Means one pre-image having exactly one image, the two unique image here. Okay. Means every element is mapped to every other element but not same element of B. Clear? So this function is one-to-one function. Understood everybody? When can you say that this function is one-to-one? Means every element, anyhow we know that every element of A should be mapped, then only we can say that it is a function. So here also 4 elements are there, here also 4 elements are there, and every element is mapped to every other element but not same element of B. Okay, so this function is a one-to-one function. Next, let us see on-to function. Sorry, many-to-one function first. So our next function is many-to-one function. Simple, what we should do means, if a function, if an element of A has more than one element of A has same image in B, then such a function is called many-to-one function. Okay, see here, image of A is P, image of B is Q, image of C is also R, and image of D is also R. Means many elements are pointing to the same element, that is pointing to the same image in B. For suppose it can be like this also. instead of B to Q, I can take B to R also. Can I take? Yes, I can take no. So this is also a many to one function. Clear? Now everybody understood what is many to one function. So one element, every element of A must and should have one image, but more than one element is having the same image in B, then such a function is called many to one function. Now let us find out onto and into from this function only. Onto function, if in any function, if its codomain is equal to range, then such a function is onto function. Understood? So our first example I am taking. So from the first example, again I am taking four elements in every set A and B. So this is my set A and this is my set B. So here A, B, C, D are my elements in set A and P, Q, R, S are my elements in set B. So if you observe, what is the codomain of B? I said complete set P, Q, R, S. So this is codomain, right? So codomain of this set is P, Q, R, S. What is the range of B? Range of B is also P, Q, R, S. Why? Because every element is mapped here. So range is equal to P, Q, R, S. So if codomain is equal to range, then such a function is onto function. Understood? For suppose I am mapping D also to R. What I am doing means I am mapping D also to R. Then in such a condition, what is our range now? Is the range same now? No. Why? Because S is not mapped here. So in our range we will not get R, S here. So in our condition, codomain is not equal to range. Then such a function is called into function. Understood everybody? The difference between onto and into. If codomain is equal to range, then such a function is called onto function. If codomain is not equal to range, then such a function is called into function. Okay, this is about types of functions. So let us continue our topic in our next video. So students, if you like my videos, please subscribe my channel and try to share, comment and like my videos.